Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the February session of the Catalogers Training Session. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat area. IHLS staff will be monitoring that as normal. Also, if we don't see it there, feel free to raise your hand and let us know, and you can unmute if you need to. Okay, for the share update, I have quite a few things today. We have good news that everything that was up for membership vote from the annual meeting has passed. That went out in an email with the actual results if you want to see the numbers. Big thing for us is that barcoder refresher training did pass. So we will be launching that in early March. If you're a director, please be on the lookout for an email from me, most likely in the last week of February. It will have a list of staff that currently have barcoding permissions. I'm going to ask that you verify that those are the staff members who should and that you do want them to have those permissions. If you have other staff that need them, that'd be the time to also let me know so that we can get them started on that process. It'll be a link to a form that you can fill out. So super simple, just that'll help us make sure our list is up to date and that the staff that don't need to take this training don't have to do it. We also have launched a new help desk ticket here at IHLS and Share, and I'm going to put the link in the chat box. It shouldn't look much different than the old one. On the back end, it does look different. We no longer see pop-up ads, which is great, but you should get the same response time. You'll see who it's coming from, and so far it's worked beautifully. You can also email the link that's on there if you don't want to go through the actual portal. The next thing is that the Aspen reservation system is still open till February 28th. I'm going to post a link with more information. If you have any questions, please reach out to Cassandra Thompson. She's happy to talk about it. And even if you aren't sure, you're leaning towards it, go ahead and sign up and just put the maximum amount that you think your library could afford. If we don't get it, it's not a definite you're doing this if you sign up through the reservation system. We just want to make sure that anyone who's interested is definitely looking at it. Okay, and then for training, we have quite a few training opportunities coming up. If you or if anyone on your staff needs it, we're going to be doing another Zoom session for barcoding 1 and 2. Those will be on March 8th and March 15th, and there's still spots available. They'll just need to register on L2. We will also be doing an accelerated barcoding class at Chatham Area District Library on February 28th. We still have a few spots for that. We are going to condense barcoding 1 and 2 down to about 4.5 hours and try to get people who would prefer to take it in person in that day. We are also looking at doing more in-person training in the coming fiscal year and definitely spreading it out throughout the state. So if we're not in your area yet, we'll be down there, don't worry. We'll be having a share reports class on February 23rd, and that will also cover simply report. And then our regular share your cataloging questions will be on February 28th. All of those can be registered for on L2. Okay, that's all I have for share update.
Hi, this is Linda. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to give you some updates from the Bibliographic and Cataloging Standards Committee meeting that was held in January. Next slide, please. The first change is for graphic novels only. And this is a share local practice for graphic novel adaptations. So our previous policy was when a translated work had been adapted to enter the work under the person responsible for the adaptation and make an added entry for the original author. With graphic novels, this was very confusing because the graphic novel readers know who the authors are and who they're looking for. So the new policy is that when a graphic novel has a translator or an adapter, that is put in an added entry and the original author is entered in the 100 field. Next slide, thank you. And another addition are two new thesauri. And the first one is genre and terms for tabletop games. And I know that at Share, we have been doing a lot of games. And this gives libraries the option to use terms specific for tabletop games. And that would be in the 265 second indicator 7 field with the subfield 2, sorry, of GTG, and then also the Getty's Art and Architecture. And that would be with the subfield 2 of AAT. Next slide. And one that we've all been hoping would come soon on December 23rd. They have officially added the LCGFT term of large print books. So no longer will you have to do the 655-0 of large type books. You just need to put the 655 second indicator 7 and large print books with the LCGFT in the second indicator. I'm sorry, second subfield. The next meeting of the Bibliographic Cataloging Standards Committee will be April 21st from 10 to 2 a.m. You can sign up for that in L2, and that does count towards your cataloging hours, so anybody is welcome to attend. Pass that off to, is it Pam next?
Actually, I believe, yes, it is. I don't think we had any updates today.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, this is Pam giving you the CMC update. So our next Online with the CMC is going to be next month. It'll be March 9th, A Global Journey Cataloging World Languages. And Mary Cornell and Sarah Miku, our University of Denver intern, will be co-presenting that. I put the link to L2 in the chat. In April, Linda Johnson's going to be presenting A Stitch in Time Basic or Budget Book Repair. That will be on April 3rd. And then in May 11th, Mary Cornell will be presenting Treasure Troves of the Past, digging into cataloging local history. And all of those are in L2. The CMC will be meeting soon, probably next month, to start talking about topics for fiscal year 2024. So that will be us starting Online with the CMCs in August of this year. So if you have topics that you would like us to cover, please either put them in the chat or you can email me and I'll put my email in the chat box. Thanks.
So our main topic for today is merging bib records. We have had a few people requesting a little more information about how to do this and how to feel confident in doing it. So we just wanted to touch on that briefly today. I will start with some information, and then after that, Don Pippin will do a live demonstration of a merge. So our clever title here, To Merge or Not to Merge. One thing that we've encountered from a lot of our catalogers is sort of a feeling of merging being a black box, of being a mystery that no one wants to touch for fear of messing anything up. And while we do want all of our catalogers to approach merging cautiously, it's not something that needs to be mysterious. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not changing the slide. I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. So I want to go over first some important matching points, because essentially what we're doing when we're comparing records that we think might need to be merged is basically the same matching process that our barcoders go through when determining if a record is a good match. We're going to be looking at a lot of the same fields, a lot of the same points of data to determine if the records are actually identical or if there's some difference that warrants a separate record. One thing that we don't cover with barcoding that is important to look at with merging records is the system control number, specifically the OCLC number, in the 035 field. it is possible to have matching records without having matching OCLC numbers, but having those matching numbers is very helpful. If you find a bib record with 2 matching OCLC numbers, pretty good odds they need to be merged, because at some point people had just brought in the same OCLC record twice and didn't merge them at the time, is the most likely culprit for that. However, if 2 records that seem to match have different OCLC numbers, like if they both have an OCLC number but they're different, it's worth taking a minute to go check OCLC, pull up those records, and see if they've been merged in OCLC, or if you can discover some difference there that maybe isn't immediately apparent from the Polaris record. And I'll pause here and say that one thing we want to emphasize too is, if you are investigating a record to merge and you're feeling unsure, hesitant, really not sure, want some more eyes on it, send it to us. We are happy to take care of merging. There is a form for requesting a merge on the Share website under support and then forms. Fill that out, send it to us, and we're happy to look at it. So don't feel like you have to make a change, have to make a decision if you're not feeling confident in the merge. So if you find 2 records that appear to match, but both have different OCLC numbers, check OCLC. It might become apparent that they are different records, or they might have been merged in OCLC already, and the change just was not made in Polaris. That happens sometimes. Another critical matching point to look at is the 1XX, whether it's the personal name of an author, corporate, etc. Minor variations in this might be acceptable if it's the case of like an older record that has, where the name of the author has changed due to controlling, or like a date has been added. This is a case for using cataloger's judgment. If it's clearly the same entity, it's the same person, just one has the date of birth and death in it and the other one doesn't, you can accept that as being a match. Obviously, we need it to be the same author for it to be a correct match. The title statement, the publication and copyright dates, and especially the physical description, of course, need to match. That is critical. Again, same as with our barcoders. If there's some difference in pagination or physical size, there's a reason for that, and we need to investigate that further. The 505 contents field is also important. It's most often going to be pertinent if we're looking at like an audio CD where it lists out track titles, because that's something we do want to see in all of our music CD records, for instance. Whereas with a book, if one doesn't have a table of contents listed in the 505, there's a little more room for investigation and cataloger's judgment there. But especially with something like an audio CD that has track titles, we need to make sure that's a match. Otherwise, I mean, we've all seen those CDs that have 15 of the same song and 1 different song from one to the other. So, always got to make sure that that's a match as well. We have a few things that do not have to match necessarily to do a merge. One of them is subject headings. Of course, we have this with books that are, we often will find books that have different subject headings for the same book. Do check to see if one of the records has subject headings that you want to put on the other one. Maybe the record that you're otherwise superseding has something good on it that, oh, they included the location, or, oh, they included this topic that the book talks about. Pull that over onto the record that you're going to be keeping. We want to make sure we have those if they're good information. We also want to look at the ISBN in the 020. That's, again, like with searching and matching for barcoding, that can be helpful for identifying records that are mergeable, but it is not necessary for them to be there, and it is also not sufficient to decide that it's a good match. So ISBN's useful, not critical, not infallible. Another is the 024 and the 028 fields. Those are going to be commonly seen as publisher numbers or manufacturer numbers on DVDs and things like that, although of course they'll come up on other media as well. We all know how finicky those can be and sometimes differ between otherwise identical items. So again, don't sweat those. If everything else looks good, oh, the 024 is different. we're not really gonna worry about that one. A big source of our need to merge records, as we all know, is on order records. These are not necessarily difficult to determine if they're matches, but we do want to be vigilant to make sure we're not merging things that should actually be separate records. On order records don't typically have a lot of information on them by design. They're not intended to circulate, so we don't load them up with information. So when you're looking at an on order record to see if it needs to be merged, the main things that you're going to want to look at and be able to look at are going to be the ISBN and the format. Format meaning most commonly, is this a large print version of the work or not? That's going to be the most common use of the format being different. And you're going to use your cataloger's judgment here, more so than necessarily with the other more standard merges. Keep in mind that with new releases, so for instance, we've got a new James Patterson book coming out. I can say that safely because we all know there's going to be one this week. It's not very likely that there are going to be a bunch of different versions released at the time of release. We're not yet going to have 3 different hardcover sizes and a trade paperback and a mass market paperback and another paperback that for some reason is a different number of pages. That's not very often going to happen at time of release for new books. So keep that in mind. If you've got a good record for a brand new book that just came out and there's an on order record that has a couple people that are still attached to it and it's a brand new book, it might be safe to merge it because the odds of there actually being some different version of this floating around out there, it's not impossible, but it's not going to be super likely. And again, as with any other merge, if you're just not sure, send it to us. I believe I saw someone put the form link in the chat. It's on the share website under support and then forms. Oh. Are there still book club editions with different pagination? There can be. Again, can't ever rule something out categorically. I don't believe those are commonly going to come out at the time of a book's release. It's not impossible. So again, you always got to check. Can't just go off of a blanket statement, but we're using our cataloger's judgment here. Some more things to remember when you're doing a merge. Whenever necessary, update the record to RDA standards, especially if you're dealing with merging older records from, the late 20th century, in some cases that still haven't been merged. Update them. Spend a few minutes, add those fields that we need to, change the punctuation as necessary, whatever the case might be. Spend a few minutes to do that. Incorrect merges can be undone within a short time frame. If you realize, oh shoot, I just made a bad merge, email someone on the Bib services team immediately. It's much easier to fix this sooner rather than later. So don't wait a week and then tell us. That's not going to help anybody. But if you realize, oh no, I just did this, clicked the wrong record, superseded the wrong one. Most of us have done this once or twice. Email us right away. No judgment. It happens. You clicked the wrong thing. It's not a big deal. Let us know soon, and we can hopefully get that restored. One of the last principles, and this sort of goes along with updating the RDA standards, checking out the subject headings across the different records. Make sure the record at the end looks like one you'd want to use. Make it look as good as any other record that you would have cataloged. That's going to ensure the best searching for our patrons, the best database control for us as catalogers here, both us at Share and then all of you at our libraries. Just make it look like a good record at the end. Again, especially with the older records that we're dealing with merging sometimes. Might take a minute or two, but it just improves the catalog so much for our patrons. And again, last time I'll say it, I promise. I can't promise Don won't say it. When in doubt, submit that merge request on the Share website. We are happy to check that out for you, especially if it's anything more complicated that, oh, we're just not sure if it's a good merge or not. Send a request and we'll take care of it. And we will have time for more questions at the end, but for now, I'm going to turn it over to Don for a live demonstration
Okay, thank you, Josh. And let me pull this up. Okay. So I picked out a couple items. One of the things I do is I do clean up provisional records, and as we're bringing other things in, so I run across a lot of possibilities for merges, and I picked out a couple of items to show today that are pretty basic and simple, just to make people feel comfortable with them. There's always those really complicated ones that, you know, we go back and forth even among ourselves about what to do, but I'm going to keep this simple to look at. And this first one is a book called The Three Billy Goats Gruff. And the control number is 529103 if you want to pull it up on your own machine, but you can look at what I've got here. So pull that one up. And there is my duplicate that shows up on it. And hopefully a lot of y'all know how to do this sort of thing. If not, we'll be glad to show you. And let me see if I can make it a little bigger to make it a little easier to see for folks. I know sometimes I had that problem. Okay, so as we said, so I've got the two records side by side to look at them here. So the first thing again is he said the 035. Let's take a look at that one there. So we've got 57683-400. Over here, it's a little further down. 576-83400. So we've got a good look right there, right off. You can see some of the size difference right off the bat. This one has a lot of 020s attached to it, more so than what this one has. But we'll come back to that in a moment. Next thing I always look at when I'm doing these again is the 100 then. So we've got Jane Bingham, author, 1941, and down here, same thing. I'm going to move this up so we can see our next fields easier. And move this one a little bit. So the next one, really important one, the 245. So we got Billy Goats Gruff, retold by Jane Bingham, illustrated by Daniel Poscom, reading consultant. Yeah, so that's all the same on that. Then we've got our 264s as our next. Our 260s on the older records, always remember that. And for the 264s here, we've got the London and Tulsa, EDC 2005. You can see this one, they abbreviated it. Here they've spelled it out, but same thing, EDC Publishing, so that's good. And we've got the same copyright date. Now, we'll look at another one later, though, where it only has just the one 264, and one of them has both. You don't have to have both, as long as that first one matches. That's really key. So then let's look at the 300 and our next thing when I'm looking at it. And that's a really, really important one. The 48 pages shows color illustrations, same size. Remember, we can have a little bit of size difference there, up to 2 centimeters, because sometimes you'll have people, they have different rulers. I see that with, you know, that they're especially off one from what I've measured it as. So, you know, that there you got a little flexibility, a slight amount. But if it's more than that too, that would be a game changer, no good. So 300. So those is where I start with. Those are the most key ones. If I've got all of those matching, it's like, yeah, this is looking pretty good, but I don't stop there. I still look at the rest of the record and see what else we've got going on with it and like going down. And one of the keys there is there a 250? Now here, there's no 250, there's no addition statements. So we're good there. There's no conflicts. This one does have a 490, a series, and they are both listed as the same, because we've run into that in some books, you know, titles are same, publishers the same. These companies will put them out as parts of different series. You know, this one's the same, so we're good. Then I always like to take a look at the 500 fields. What is there? You know, is there anything there that might be a problem? But these both look, you know, the same. The 500s for originally published, each of them have a 520. And then, as he mentioned before, as Josh mentioned, and we'll look at the subjects. This isn't, you know, again, this doesn't prevent you from merging, but I noticed this one, they have goats fiction. Over here, they've got the juvenile fiction. You know, the difference with that then is that might mean either if I decide I want to merge into this number, the 529-103, I might like that a little bit better. But if I was going to use this one as my primary, I might change these. I probably would change these, actually, not might, to juvenile fiction, because this book is a juvenile fiction book. But we've got fairy tales, 700. They've got that added down here. So all in all, this looks pretty good. Let's go back up at the top again. As I said before, I was looking at the fact that this one has several more old 20s added to it than what this one has. Now, I was trying to look. My preference on this one for the merging is this one. I like the headings, here with the juvenile fiction. I like that a little better, the additional ones here. But if I decided that I would use this one, I would move these over first before doing the merge. So given that this all looks good and I like the looks of this merge, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to close this out so I can do that merge, because if I try to do it with them both open, it won't happen. So do a quick save. We'll come back to that. There's the one that I want to merge. I've looked it all over. It looks good. So I do want to replace it. Okay, now I'm going to make this bigger for this part, because as you said, you do want to kind of look over it afterwards and see any cleanup that you want to do. Are there any items that are duplicates in there? So I've got all that. And here is the old number, the old control number from the previous one. I always go ahead and delete that out. I also look and see that it also brings in a duplicate on the 035. So we want to get rid of that. It's got the RDA in here. A lot of the older ones don't have that. I would make sure and add that back in as well. So take a look down through here and see if there's anything else right now that I would consider changing. But it all looks pretty good. So that's all there is to it. I mean, it is a pretty straightforward. I did keep a simple one here with not a lot of complications, but that's really all there is to it. And by doing this, we clean up this database and make it far better for our patrons. So I've got a second one that I do want to show you to run through. Oh, let me do my save there. And okay, now the second one I wanted to look at is a 395-2932. Three little super pigs and Goldilocks. I don't know, it just stumbled that I happen to be doing fairy tales for some reason on this particular one. So let's take a quick look here. And it does have that duplicate there. Let's bring that up. Again, get these around where we can see them, compare them side by side. Got a little bigger. It's easier for me to read it too when it's bigger. Okay, excuse me for a second. Woke up with a bit of a cough this morning, so. Okay. Again, start out again with the 035s and look for those and see how those compare. So we've got the 118, 3398, 738, and same again, 035. That's looking good there. So next, go down to the 100. Let's pull that up. Evan Clare, Arthur Illustrator. Yep. That all looks good. Then our 245, Three Little Super Pigs, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, written and illustrated by Claire Evans. Yeah. Move back and forth so we can see both of those easier. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, let's see. Nope. This one, there is it's got some additional 246s. You can look at those and see what you like on those, but those aren't key. But this one does have a 250. This one does not. Now, this does state as a first edition. As we know, first edition statements don't have to be there. As long to me, this would still be okay here. Now, if this other one had a second edition, third, something else, commemorative edition, some phrase like that, I would probably not combine them. Then I probably would find something else as well, a publication date, something different there, not to do it. But at this point, with the 250s, I'd say it's okay. We would keep on going. And then we'd look at our 264s, which, as I mentioned before, this one only has the one 264, the first one with the publications, place of location, slightly different phrasing. They've put Scholastic Press. This one has just Scholastic. It's still the same company that we know. And especially nowadays, the way the companies buy each other up and trading around, you can see a lot of changes in that, and you can look and see. But same city, same year, I'm still going to say this is good. We would nothing yet to stop us from using these or merging these two. So when we look at our 300s, one volume unpaged on both of them, color illustrations, same size, 25 centimeters. It's all looking good. So, it's all looking promising here. Now this one has added, a series statement. This one doesn't have it. Again, not a deal breaker. There's no reason not. When you look at the numbers here, the control numbers, you can tell this is a newer one, 395, since that's a larger number. So this is probably somebody has added this at some point in the OCLC record when this first one here that was brought in didn't have it. So, you can see those changes. And that's where, if you want to check that out, go look at the OCLC, see what's there on that part. So 300, we'll look at the 490s. Okay. And so I'm looking at my notes to remind myself. And then again, looking at, 520, is there a 520? And that can make a difference. Sometimes one record will have a 520, the other one won't, or one will have a much better one. You kind of use that to decide which one, to help you make that cataloger's judgment of which one you prefer using to do your merge. So here, we've got the 630, 650s. Those are both all very similar here. No differences really on that. This one's got a couple of additional 655s. So let's see, Fairy Tales Humorous here. This one added picture books, so this has some additional ones. So all in all, what brought this up to me is this first one here, the 395, showed up as a provisional record. Somebody had brought it in and showed up as provisional, and I do cleanup on those. So that's what made me go and look to see which two are there, which ones I like. Go back up top again. I always check the ISBNs last. You can see this one has paperback and the Penworthy. Paperback Penworthy, this is also added permabound. So this has more. If I was going to keep this record, the 390, 4191, I would move those Penworthy or those permabound ISBNs over and add those. But I like the looks of this one a little better. It's got that series statement that, and I did have a physical book in hand to compare. That's always helpful too. But it's not required always to do that merge. So I'm going to merge into this one. So we'll go ahead and close this one out. And there. Now, as I said, if it turned out afterwards, I realized, oops, I goofed. I don't want to do this. Contact us. These things are reversible. It's not set in stone. We can fix those things. So that's got the English, the RDAL. I always like that. I looked the full record there. There's all of that. Okay, there's that old number that we merged from the previous one. Get that out of there. This has got two of those. And everything else is looking pretty good. I didn't see anything else that I would have changed around or added to that. So with that done, I will turn this back over to Josh and any questions that people may have as well. So you want to take it back, Josh?
Sure. 1 second here.
Sure, that's okay.
Gotta get the screen. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
All right. Yeah. So do we have any questions?
And feel free to either put them in the chat or unmute.
Is this questions about merging or just general questions?
Either one's fine. We haven't had any merge ones come in, so, and I know you had a question, Susan.
Okay, so I was working on some audiobooks in OCLC yesterday, and when I brought it over to Mark Report, it was telling me subfield H spoken word is no longer used. But a month ago, it didn't give me that error. Is that something recent change?
That is not something that we changed. That's still a local practice. Have you updated Mark Report recently?
I thought I had.
Then it might be that. If you right click on that message, you can turn that off.
Well, okay, I just wanted to make sure, since I just want to make sure I was doing the right thing, and if I'd missed something that I wasn't supposed to add that, because it seemed like we add that.
Yes.
I'm talking about down in the 800, not the one.
Oh,
after
not the
title.
GMD.
No, I'm sorry, I should have said the 800 field where, you know, when you're doing the series, like
Yes, yes.
Shepherd Gray, rumors at Ross Ridge or whatever it is.
Yes.
Subfield H spoken word.
As far as I know, unless
In the Mark Report, I've noticed that because I do a lot of audiobooks. It
okay.
comes up saying this is an obsolete usage.
Yes, that's what I
Does
got
it?
yesterday.
Okay.
And it hadn't
so-
happened a month ago.
I have to agree. I've noticed it more recently. I didn't notice how long that's been occurring, but it has recently been showing up. I've been removing it since it says it's an obsolete usage out of that
Okay.
800
I
myself.
wasn't sure since we,
I'm not changing it in OCLC. I'm just simply removing it. Yeah, when I bring it in for, for us.
so I didn't know if that was going to be a share that we need to remove it to bring it into share, since Mark Report says no.
Well, let me look into it. There's something I'm trying to look, and I just brought in an authority record where it has the subfield H. Let me look into it.
All right, I appreciate
Once
that.
I,
'Cause
yeah. Once we know for
I
sure,
don't
we'll
wanna
let
do-
everyone
I don't
know.
want, and if I need to go remove those out of records I've done recently, I can do so. I just I want to know what I should do. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We'll take a look at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there's a couple questions in the chat. No, we had not put it up yet, Janet. I will get that up after this agenda. After the meeting, it'll be on L2. I hadn't put it up just in case we had any last minute changes. So yes, the slides will all be put up and we can work on getting a more formal handout put together. It might take a little bit since we're trying to get barcode refresher training launched fully, but we will get it to you. Julia. Holds and item records will be moved and emerged. Can you now reverse that with this new update? Do you mean if a bad merge happens? Unfortunately, no. That'll be, if we get a bad merge and there was a lot of folds or anything like that, we will let libraries know. Unfortunately, that's a glitch with Polaris that isn't fixed yet. But hopefully down the road. And then Connie actually asked, can we do the merge again, starting with the save? Don, do you have an extra one that we could do real quick?
No. Let me think. I meant to have a third one and somebody had done something to it. So,
Okay.
so,
Give
yeah,
us a couple minutes, Connie.
if somebody's got one, so she'd like to see another one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, Julia, that's why we need to be cautious when merging. The steps will be in the handout. Right now, the slides are just what we have listed as like things that you definitely need to watch for, things that aren't as key for merging. But give us a minute, we can see if we can find a duplicate for you.
Or we're open to anybody else finding one
Yes.
and sending it to us also.
Please. I'm trying to think of an older kid's book where there'd like maybe a couple copies.
Jennifer, I might have some.
Oh, perfect.
I don't know what if they're kids' books or what they are. I just don't know. I have a list I'm working on.
Okay, they don't have to be kids' books. That was just the first thing I thought of, like, there's probably duplicates of. So if you have one, would you go ahead and
Wow.
put the control numbers in the chat and we'll get that pulled up?
Sure.
Thank you. No problem, Connie. Happy to do it.
And Dawn, you can take over the screen share so you can show that.
Thank you. Okay, let's see here. I don't want to do that yet. I'll lose the number. So. So the 1850 US Census, is that what we've got there? Linda?
It very well could be. I had some historical books. If you prefer, I'll look at my other list.
No, it comes up with one. We can take a look, see, and yeah, okay. Let me pull that. Okay. And I take it people can see my screens again.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Okay, so starting there, 035s. Now, as you talked about, you got different 035s, we've got different numbers there, on that one. So that would be something, again, to go into the OCLC and see, have they merged them? Is there something there with that? Do not see any 020s. We don't have a 100 to work with. So let's see what the 245 has for us. Let me move that one over a little bit. Excuse me if I get softer. Sometimes I start talking to myself. I'm sure lots of you catalogers do that. So we got 1850 US Census, St. Clair County, Illinois, John Shunk. So 245 looks good as far as a match. And again, they've got a 246. We don't need to worry about that. This is an older one, the 260. So we've got Wichita, Kansas, SK Publications, 1986, same year. Here we've got a difference, the 300. We've got sizes. This one says on page, this one says various pagings, 1 volume, 2 volume. Now this is where probably right there, that would stop me from merging this until maybe I requested the books to see them physically and see what was there and whether there might be some changes. Is that 2 volumes a typo, or is it 2 volumes, or is it the second volume, yeah. So, and any of you other catalogs around there, please speak up if you think I'm off base on that, but that's where I probably would stop on that one.
Don, on those historical books, that list of those historical books, I've run into a few of them where it would say 2 volume versus 1 volume. And then when you look at the linked item records, it'll say volume 1 and volume 2. So there's a lot that I have had to call in.
Right. So like I said, at this point, we would not merge. I wouldn't merge that one at this point on that. Cleanup wise, if I had merged it, I would add the 33X fields. There's a lot of cleanup I would do on this record. So, I would add the English, B field and RDA, and I would probably, use some of the macros on that. But let me see. Yeah, I can still see the screen. Let's take a look at that other one that you had there. Does that answer? And I see Dr. Thomas, thank you for checking that those don't show as merges. And I'm trying to look over his questions on that. Are the 700s the same person? Yeah, because you see, you got very different dates there. Good catch on that. So, Yeah, so it's a couple of good reasons not to merge these two without maybe further investigation on them. So let's take a quick look. We'll go ahead and pull that other one up. So we've got plenty of time, so we might as well do a few. It's good to know when not to merge, as we said. So the other number we had was 285 9515 9515. Another set of census. Or was that the other census one we were looking at? That's I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's the other census one. Okay. So does that kind of answer the other question? Give you a little bit of an idea? So are there other questions? Yeah.
None so far in chat.
Okay. Okay, then, well, we can turn, let's see. Like I said, I've been having problems finding the bar there for me to, oh, there's my stop share. Okay, I'll turn it back over. So, and thank you all for your patience.
I will get this over to our IT department quickly and have them get it processed so I can get it up on the training website. So the videos will be available. I typically get it back within a couple days. I'm going to see if they can get it back to me sooner so that it'll be more quickly available. Does anyone else have any questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none, I will tell everyone have a wonderful day. Enjoy Valentine's Day if you're inclined to celebrate it. And we will see everyone either at our upcoming Share Your Cataloging Questions, one of the training opportunities, or next month on March 14th.